Sophomores, how are you guys? It's Mr. Eastman. I am in room 259, our beloved classroom. I hope you guys had an awesome summer of safety and fun. I'm here to give you a brief overview of what your sophomore level Bible class will look like. Last year, if you recall, we had an in-depth study of the Gospel of John. We did study the case for Christ. We looked at the book Not a Fan, which asked us just how serious we are about Jesus. This year is different. There's some overlap, but it's going to be on a whole nother level. This year's going to be a combination of theology, of hermeneutics, of philosophy, of apologetics. I'll explain all that in a second. But let me quickly go over the textbook that is required of you this year. There's only one. Last year there were 4 textbooks required for Bible 9. Bible 10 is different. There's just one textbook. It is thick, but here it is. It's Understanding the Faith by Jeff Myers. And this textbook covers a lot of ground in a lot of different subjects. So as I mentioned just a second ago, it's going to be different in that we're not going to be going through one book of the Bible and studying it verse by verse. This class is going to be a mixture of a lot of different things. And it's extremely relevant, extremely practical class because what happens is we're going to be discussing a lot of ideas and philosophies that unbelievers have that are on display every day, any day that we, watch the news or look at some form of information. There's people who display and live out these concepts, and we're going to talk about them in class and talk about what the Bible says about them, how to respond to these ideas as a Christian. For example, relativism. Relativism is rampant in our country. We're going to talk about it in this class. Relativism is the idea that you define what's true, right? You have truth. What's true for you is your truth. What's true for me is my truth. And you can't tell me basically anything. There's no absolutes. We're going to talk about that at length as an example. There's also an entire chapter in this book about how to study the Bible. So we kind of did it last year in the Gospel of John, but this year going to be more in depth, more explicit, and more give you some more fundamental principles on how to read the Bible. How should you study it? How should you interpret it? So that's called hermeneutics. So there's an entire chapter in this book on hermeneutics, how to correctly interpret the Bible, which is extremely important, extremely relevant to all of our lives as Christians. There's a number of chapters in this textbook that are theology based. So all theology is a study of God. So God's characteristics. We're going to study in depth God's character and who he is, what the Bible describes him as. And then apologetics. We did this last year, very beginning of last year as freshmen. But in the case for Christ, in the case for faith, but defending the faith, explaining, giving reasons why you believe what you believe, not just blindly following it, but being able to logically, reasonably think about and giving explanations for your belief in the Bible and Jesus and God. So there's chapters in this textbook that are more apologetics based, and I'm excited, guys. I'm a big believer in your class. I don't just say that. A number of future leaders in the sophomore class, and I can't wait to be in class with you guys and discuss all this information. Let me just say that in addition to this textbook, the only other book that's required is a Bible. So I said this last year, I'm going to say it again this year multiple times, but I welcome multiple translations. So You are required to have a Bible in print in this class. And you get to pick the translation. So whatever translation that you prefer, I welcome multiple translations so we can hear and read the Bible from different wordings. But you are required to have a Bible, and you get to pick which translation you prefer. But the Bible and the Understanding the Faith textbook are the only textbooks required for this year. In addition to that, you will need a 3-ring binder with loose leaf paper. So I did loosely, no pun intended. I did kind of talk about this last year, but I'm going to be more strict with it this year. Any homework assignments, memory verse quizzes that you turn in on paper, all paper needs to be on loose leaf paper, mainly because the notebook, spiral notebook paper, when you rip it out, creates a mess everywhere on the floor. So loose leaf paper, 3-ring binder, something to write with, pen or pencil. The school is going to assign you an iPad and then the 2 textbooks. And between all that, that's all you're going to need for Bible 10 this year. On the very first day of class, Monday, August 17th, when you guys come here, I will be handing out the syllabus just like last year, first day of class. So I'll be going through all this information in more depth, more detail when you guys come on Monday, the 17th. That will be your first homework assignment, is to read it and get it signed just like last year. But I'll cover all this information more in depth on your first day of class when you come. I am sincerely looking forward to having you guys, to seeing your faces again. And I pray just for an awesome year. I'm excited. I will see you guys on Monday the 17th. Blessings, guys.